Rich countries are responsible for 3/4 of greenhouse gas emissions currently in the atmosphere, but the world's poorest are being hit first and hardest, according to the latest report by Oxfam. It says annual global emissions need to return to 1990 levels or below by 2020, and rich countries must make reductions of at least 40% by this time. They also have a responsibility to support developing countries do the same to get a fair and safe climate deal.
We need to see in the order of, at a minimum, 150 billion provided per year to both pay for emissions cuts and to help countries protect themselves from climate change. Now, obviously, not all developed countries have the same level of economic capability, and we're suggesting that the very poorest of those countries get all of their emissions cuts paid for by rich countries. There are a few countries at the top of the developing countries group which have a lot more capability, so they would see less funding from developed countries. And then there's a big group in the middle that pay according to their own available economic capability.
Droughts and floods are hitting communities in the developing world hardest, leading to destroyed homes and livelihoods, food shortages and more disease. The poorest countries like Bangladesh and Uganda would receive 100% of the funding they need to shift to a low-carbon path.
In countries like Bangladesh and Pacific Islands, typhoons, droughts, floods are, according to sudden onset disasters in which people are dying, and we expect that number of disasters by 2015, which is the year that we're hoping to realise the Millennium Development Goals, we're seeing those disasters probably increase in the region of about 50%, so that 375 million people are impacted each year. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot more people who are being affected by more slow onset trends caused by climate change. So we've got farmers in Uganda who are sort of gambling with when they plant their seeds. They don't know whether they're going to be devastated by drought or whether they're going to be washed away with floods.
Jeffrey Kanani is a maize farmer in Uganda. He has noticed lots of changes in recent years that are damaging his harvest. Dry periods have left his crop yield considerably reduced. His situation is similar to many farmers across the developing world.
We use it to plant early August and we harvest in December, early December. So now, as it continued changing, we are now planting even in September, late September, causing the yield to be poor, in fact. My children may not go to school, and they will get we have a lot of famine.
The report has been released to coincide with UN climate talks in Bonn. Currently, no rich country is anywhere near delivering their share of the emission reductions. But the report concludes a global commitment is vital if we are to avoid runaway climate change. A cost economist Lord Nicholas Stern believes would be as much as 5 to 20% of global GDP.